Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joy today from the Better Business Bureau here in Wisconsin, and now famous from the Fitchburg Senior Center presentation, Tiffany Schultz. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for
How
having me.
was your presentation?
It was wonderful. We talked a lot about scams and shared some good information. So now the seniors are prepared to be knowledgeable about the scams taking place in the marketplace.
Did anybody ask for an autograph, knowing that you've been on this show 1,000 times?
Nobody asked me.
You should have said yes, Jeremy. I signed chip clips, I signed mugs, I signed t-shirts. Tiffany. No, Tiffany is here today. We're going to be talking about puppy scams, and you kind of like say, puppy scams, that still happens? That's still out there? That's still a thing? They're puppies. They're so cute.
Are you in the market for one?
No, but my wife is, and that's why we're never going to let her see this segment.
Okay. Well, if you are looking at puppies online, or if she's looking at puppies online, keep in mind that up to 80% of pet advertisements are false.
80?
Up to 80% can be fake. So you really need to be careful as she's shopping for a cute little puppy.
Because they found the cutest picture of a puppy, right?
That's right.
That's what it is. All right, well, let's talk about how this new scam works. It's a very interesting scam, as it were, but maybe not so interesting. But people are obviously in line for getting a new puppy and using the online platform, because that's what we do, but it's too good to be true. It all just is too good to be true, right?
Pretty simple scam that really tugs at your emotions. So you're in the market for a new furry friend. What do? You go online, right? You see what's available, and you come across a puppy that really tugs at your heart, and you need this puppy. It's the type of dog that you're looking for, and it looks like it could be a great fit for your family. And you contact the person who has listed the puppy, who is perhaps the breeder, and go ahead and pay for the puppy. The puppy's going to be shipped for you, great. So a few hours after you make that deposit, you get a phone call from the breeder saying that a special crate is needed. So what do? You go ahead and pay for the crate, right? You want this puppy. And time goes by, and then you need to pay for insurance on the puppy. So you go ahead and you spend more money. And at this point, you could be double of what that puppy costs. So if that puppy is $850, you could be $1,600, $1,700 in already. And some more time goes by and the puppy doesn't arrive, so you reach out to the breeder only to find out that your number has been blocked. The puppy doesn't exist.
So, tips to avoid the scam. The first one is know what you're buying. My goodness. So, interesting enough here, it seems legit, right? You're in the process, and you're like, okay, that makes sense. But why wasn't it identified up front, right? Like, that's the first thing I'm hearing in this is like, what did you ask when you were like looking at this thing? So tell us, what are some tips to avoid the situation and not getting so far down the road where you're like, oh man.
You definitely want to see that puppy in person. So shop local, find breeders around you. You can head on over to BBB.org, find some breeders. Do your homework online too, but really do your homework online. Make sure that breeder exists and that you can see the puppy in person. If you can't see the puppy in person, perhaps a video call would be appropriate in that situation. If they can't produce a video call, making excuses for it, you're likely dealing with a scam.
Shop around is a big one. I think of you come in for the holidays and you're like, make sure you're looking around. Make sure no matter what you're doing when you're buying something, it is great to shop around and look because it's this. The market is this for everything. It doesn't matter what you're buying.
Know the average cost for the breed that you're looking at. If you find a puppy for $850 and somebody else is charging $1,600 and that seems to be the average cost, why is the puppy so discounted? So that should be a red flag. Go with those costs that seem consistent across the board.
How about checking and making sure that the dog is healthy? Like, how do you verify that the dog is healthy? By going down there, but you really want to get it checked out by a veterinarian.
A legitimate breeder is always going to have a veterinarian. Ask for their veterinarian's contact information. A legitimate breeder is always going to be happy to provide that information. Just don't take that at face value. Pick up the phone and call the vet. Ask if they're a client and ask if they know about the latest litter of puppies.
And finally, you had mentioned that you can check it on BBB, but also you can file complaints or reporting these things is super important because these are pop-up things. They are there and then they're gone, right?
If you do come across a scam, we would love to know about it. bbb.org/scam tracker. Your report helps to warn others of the scams taking place in the marketplace.
It's just really frustrating because they are really cute and furry, and you're like, you really want one. But at the end of the day, you could turn to the local shelters too in the area. And you're right, going and physically seeing the animal, I think is so important in this case. Like, you just don't know.
Absolutely. Your local humane society is going to have a variety of puppies and full-grown dogs available for adoption, and you're going to be able to play with them, meet them, and you're also donating towards a good cause too when you adopt from a local shelter.
Yeah, there's just, like I said, there's a lot of options out there, and doing your homework as mentioned and checking things out, so important in this. But if you do think you've gotten scammed, reporting it, so important, because guess what? She brings those topics right here, and that's why we talk about them.
BBB.org/scam tracker.
Thank you so much, Tiffany.
Thanks for having me.
Why don't you bring a puppy?